wanted to talk about how we can keep our horses sound while we're here at home, and for those of us that compete and take off to competitions. And that can even be if you're not a competitive person, but you like to take your horse out on trail rides, or it's camping, or something like that. It all ties in. I tried to look into any sort of articles and stuff that were written that talked about what the top trainers in the various disciplines do to keep their horses sound. And I talked to several of the people that I work for, and I called several people that around the country, because my brilliant wife is the one that came up with this idea. She's like, yeah, okay, you can inject coffee, you do all that stuff. But what about these people that are out there? They have to perform to make a living. They have to go out and win, or you, as an owner, will pull that horse away from them and put them somewhere else. They have to keep that horse sound with the help of various people, veterinarians hopefully, okay, in order to be successful, all right? So, but that's a pretty good idea. So I started calling up cutting trainers, reining horse trainers, hunter jumpers, a couple of dressage people, a couple of Olympians, okay? I don't have numbers and percentages put together because I got lazy and I didn't do that, but eventually I'll probably do that. And so I asked them all these questions, basically the same questions. And it was really interesting what they came up with. And this is kind of a list of what they talked about. First and foremost, at home, and all this kind of goes back and forth, ties in with our competition too, is fitness, okay? And we'll kind of go through some of these in a little bit. They all said fitness, 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 exercise, 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 okay? And the good and knowledgeable help. Most of these trainers have somebody that will get on, saddle their horses, maybe one of them, and the trainers take a few minutes to get things right on the horse and go on to the next horse, okay? They need somebody that knows the horse well. It's not that simple of a job. It sounds like it is, it doesn't pay well, but you need somebody there. A veterinarian that hopefully can help them out, if they're a good veterinarian. Some people use different veterinarians for different things. You know, some people say, gee, I really like this guy or gal to come out and evaluate my horses. I really like this guy or gal to come out and fix the lameness because it seems to be better in their hands. I really like this guy or gal on emergencies because all the other people that sew them up, they come apart. So, but most of them will stay with one veterinarian. A farrier that's worth their salt was very important for them, okay? The old adage, no foot, no horse, is huge, okay? The big thing to think about on their feet is that we all look at it and go, oh, look at that little pointy tissue and it grows like our fingernail and we better cut it back. But it's an extremely dynamic structure, okay? Depending how they are trimmed or shod is going to dictate how they grow. And how they grow is going to dictate what happens as things go up the leg. Okay? What I tell people to look for in a farrier is A, experience, okay? B, you get what you pay for. C, will they work well with a veterinarian? Do they play well with others? And D, if they are actually doing some form of continuing education, okay? And that means they do have conferences just like veterinarians and doctors do that they can go to. They do have various articles that they can read, and if they're not keeping up on that, they're not learning some of the latest stuff, okay? The footing that you ride your horse in was also mentioned, and obviously nutrition, and we're going to try and hit on some of these, okay? And the rider balance is important. If you've got somebody that's riding your horse that's not, you know, maybe a friend that's not a horse person, and they get on and they're bouncing on your horse, and your horse's, you know, ears are now going back to his withers, it's going to make you sick, okay? And I'm not saying that don't let those people ride your horse, but keep in mind how much your horse is going to be able to take. Even some of the best riders will ride it out of balance, okay? It's going to happen. We may be a little sore ourselves in our back, or we may have one leg a little longer than the other leg. Go to any chiropractor, they'll probably tell you that. And so we're going to be leaning off to one side. We also have a tendency, if we're going around loping off or trotting to the left, we may be kind of saying, our horse is trying to, drop his shoulder and dive in here. And so we're saying, okay, we're going to try and pick you up and push you back over this way. Well, we do that, and already I got a little more weight in my right, leg, and I'm putting more weight on him over here.